Hello and welcome everyone. I am super excited to get into this box today. I will try to have everything linked down below if you'd like to try out your own box. I do have a discount code for you down there, but let's just get into this box. So as always, Smart Art gives us this pamphlet and it gives us a little history about the products that we're using, gives us some information about the products themselves and the prices. Now all these prices are in US, so of course convert that to whatever your currency is. They give us some projects, so this is a little beginner project. And then this is a more advanced project that you can do, as well as some tips and pointers on the back. And our prompts this month are geometric, tree, rain, and mythical. So with that being said, let's just get right into the box because I am so excited to get this out and start playing with it. So right off the bat, this is our sticker for the month, and you can already see a little bit of the theme in the sticker. I absolutely love their stickers, and I've been collecting them ever since I started Smart Art, so love that. So the first thing I see here are these brushes from Zin Bohem, and it looks like this is a 5-piece set. This retails for $6.99. It looks like they're all Filbert type brushes, and it does say that they are soft and flexible and good with watercolor, acrylic, color, and oil. So that's kind of interesting. And it just shows the different types of brushes that this company has. But I like that they've given us a lot of different sizes. So if you want a small brush, a big brush. So that's kind of interesting. Then, of course, we get our little candy for the month, and these look like gummy bears, but they are called Haribo Gold Bears, and it says they're gummy bears, and ooh, okay, so it says the flavors here are orange, strawberry, pineapple, lemon, and raspberry, and I am way into that, and yes, I will be eating these. The next thing I see here are these Art Alternatives 5x7 canvas panels, and this is a 4-pack, and this retails for $7.32. And these say that they're already primed with titanium gesso, and they're suitable for acrylic paints, oil paints, wet or dry medium. So that's really fun that they give us 4 of these. In this pack this month, these plastic cups are a bonus item that we get. And then we've also got some other items in the cup. So we've got this PEBEO 4 Artist marker, and this is in black, and it's a 4mm tip. So let's go ahead and get this open. And as you can see, there is a little ball in there, so you can shake it up and make sure that this is shaked up. And I believe this type marker you have to prime. Yeah. So this is sort of like the Posca pens where you have to push it down on something and let the color leak out. So be careful. I always suggest doing that off on a separate surface because you don't know how much is going to come out. But this says it is permanent. And it's oil-based, and this retails for $5.15. Then we get this little set of plastic paint knives, and it looks like they come in all different sizes, and the plastic knife set retails for $3.50. Then we've got this PEBEO Studio Acrylics ink in black, Mars Black to be exact, so that's kind of cool, and this retails for $7.45. And then the thing that I'm most excited for is this PEBEO Pouring Experience Kit. So we are going to be doing acrylic pouring this month, and I have never done this, and I am excited and nervous at the same time to try this out. So this is PEBEO's pouring kit. So it says on the back here we get some acrylic inks, some silicone oil, and a canvas. And then it's got some suggested techniques down here. So let's see what's in this. So this is the canvas that comes in the kit, and it is a 20 by 20 centimeters. I will try to have on the screen what that is in inches. So that's kind of cool that we get an extra canvas out of this. And then these are the colors that we get this month. So we get this gold color, a lighter blue, a darker blue, and then this titanium white. And these are already mixed for pouring. Now the thing I'm unsure about is, because I think this black, it says it's high viscosity, so I think it's a little bit thicker. So I'm wondering if I'm going to have to water this down if I want to include this into the pouring, or if it's going to be liquid enough. I'm not sure. So that's one thing I'm going to have to play around with. And then we've also got some of this silicone oil. Now, as far as I know, the silicone oil is added to the pouring mediums so that you can get like those little cell type things created here. I think that's what that's for, but it's going to be really interesting to try it out anyway. So I think I'll try with and without. But those are all the supplies that we got this month. I am going to have to go and lay down something on top of my desk so I don't make a complete mess here. But if you've made it this far into the video, I would really appreciate it if you could give the video a like, and let's just get into playing with this stuff. I had so much fun doing these projects, and I don't know if this is going to become a new addiction for me or not. I think I say it every time, but smart art, you are knocking it out of the water. This has got to be one of my favorite boxes so far, and I was so excited that this was not Inktober type material. Even though I love getting inks and stuff like this, this was just so fun to play around with, something I've never tried, and I came out with pieces that I actually really like. I think I might be in love with paint pouring. It might be a new addiction of mine. So for this first acrylic pour that you're seeing, I decided to just put the paints on the canvas and let them mix themselves. And as you'll see towards the end, I used a little bit too much black, I think. And also I should have used a little more paint in general because I was having a really hard time to spread the paint out. And I think that's the takeaway from this whole project. In each of these paintings that I'll do, I think I could have used way more paint than I did. That's one thing with acrylic pouring. You need to make sure you have a lot of paint, and you will waste a lot of paint, but some of them come out just beautifully. So I do like how this one came out, and I ended up dripping some of that silicone oil on top of it because I forgot to put it in with the paint when I mixed up some of them. So I dripped that on top, and there's a little bit of cells that are forming, but I wish I would have gotten more out of that one. The next one you're seeing here, I decided to do a dirty pour, I think it's called. So that's where you put all the paint into one cup, and then you flip the canvas upside down with the cup and then flip it back over and let all the paint run out. And I think this is one of my favorite techniques. I really love how the paint blended. I could have used a little bit more paint because some of my edges weren't covering, and I would have to take my finger with the glove on and sort of like coax the paint down to cover some of the edges. And even as it's drying right now, I can see the canvas is, you know, it's covered with paint, but it's not completely covered in some areas. So I definitely could have used a lot more paint, but I really like how this one came out. So the next one you're seeing here is for the prompt tree, and I was trying to get sort of like branch-like textures, but I wanted the paint to mix together like I've seen people do, I think creating flowers or flower petals using this technique. I kind of like how this turned out, but definitely in the middle and at the bottom I had way too much paint going. So I think I could have just did the paint like in strips going up and left that middle section open with no paint, and I think I would have gotten a better result. But I really liked how this one turned out, and I would definitely try this technique again in the future. And I'm not sure if I really needed the white paint that I had tried to put down in the background or not, because it's quite patchy actually. There's some parts on the canvas where it shows and some where it doesn't show. So I would be interested to try it with no paint on the white canvas the next time I do that. Then the next one you're seeing here was for the prompt rain, and what I was hoping to be able to do was swipe down the paint and get like a variety of colors, and then drop some of the silicone drops on top to get like some little rain textures. But as I was doing it, it was just kind of muddying up all the colors, and I've seen people do this beautifully, and I don't know how they do it, so I just started scraping off some of that dark paint and put some more light paint on top. And then I put the silicone on top, and I'm not sure I like how this one turned out. And as I'll show you at the end of this video, I'll show you a little close-up of each of them. But for this one, you can definitely see where the canvas shows through. And I don't know if that's because I dropped the silicone drops on top, because you can see it almost pushed the paints away. It kind of looks neat, but at the same time, maybe I should have painted the canvas underneath, let it dry, and then do this technique. So that might be interesting to try again. The next one that you're seeing here, I think turned out to be my favorite out of all of them. And I saw somebody do this technique where they put a lot of paint down on the surface and then they pour some paint on and they use their hair dryer to move the paint around. And it sort of blows into these little spurts and places. But again, I just don't think I had enough paint down for the base layer, because you're supposed to blow that paint back onto the paint that you've put down and then start blowing it out from there, and I just couldn't get the right technique. So what I ended up doing was taking one of those little puffer things that you would use for pastel to get the dust off your work, and I started using that to try to blow some paint to get that effect, and I quite like that, but I would like to try this again and have more of a thicker layer on the bottom. And then you're supposed to put more paint around it so you have something to put over top of the paint that you can blow out from there. But I still like how this one looks, but there's sort of a glob right in the middle of dark paint, so I don't know how that's gonna dry. It might crack. Then the last one that you're seeing here, I actually really like, now that it's starting to dry a little bit and it's starting to form some cells and stuff, I actually really like how this one turned out. And it sort of reminds me of a beach scene where we've got like the dark water and some white foam and then the sandy area. I actually really like this, and for this one I'm using the Smart Art round canvas, and this worked really well for this because I could sort of coax the paint around the edges without it being too hard, because the edges were round. I found on the square canvases sometimes too much paint would pour off one end when I was trying to cover the edge of the canvas, and then I couldn't get the paint to the other side to cover the other edge. But this one, since it was round, it was a lot easier to get the paint to cover those edges. Also, I don't think I put any silicone in this one, but as it's drying, it is forming some of those cells, and it's really pretty. So I would love to try this one again. And again, I think it's the dirty cup flip method, and I really love how this one turned out. That would be my go-to, I think, if I was doing these. So I will go ahead and insert a clip right now of how they're looking about an hour or so after I've painted them. And then depending how long they dry, I'll try to show you another update if they've dried before this video goes up. So this is the scene of the crime where it all happened, and I think I managed to keep my white desk white. So what I did here was I just used one of the puppy pee pads that I have, because yes, I have 2 Yorkies, and while I'm working, they can't hold it all day. So sometimes they do use these. So it is really nice to have these available for messy art days like this, but this was a lifesaver. And I went through most of this paint to create, I think, all 5 pieces that we did. And this alcohol, I don't think I mentioned it at all, but what I did was the black paint, I was mixing it up with water, and I did about a 1 to just over 1 water ratio. So 1 part paint, little over 1 part water to mix that up so it was fluid enough. And then it was creating a lot of bubbles. So I just went with the alcohol and I just gave it a few spritz, and that sort of got rid of all the bubbles. I had seen that in a video somewhere, and I can't remember who said it, but if I remember, I'll link it down below. But these are how the paintings are looking right now, and I apologize for the lighting over here. My light is over there at that desk, but I'm just going to show you a quick close-up of all of them. And I forgot to mention, this one was supposed to be my geometric one because I had added the silicone to it, and I wanted to get some of those like patterns and stuff, but only a few came out. So that's the first one that I did there. And you can see there are a few cells coming out, but it turned out quite dark. And same with this one. So this was the dirty pour one, and then this was the one where I did the string, and I really like how this one turned out. Like, I find it's really pretty. I just should have did a little bit less paint down here. And this was for rain, so that was the tree one. This was for rain. And again, I like how it turned out, but as you can see, it really pushed a lot of the paint out of the way. And I don't know if that's using the silicone drops, but you can see the canvas there, and you can see how it's made like edges. I don't want to touch it, but you can see how it's made edges around. I like that effect, but I wish that the canvas was covered. So maybe I would like paint it, let it dry, and then do that. And then this, I love how this one turned out, and I'm going to sort of get back so you can see. I really like how this one turned out. and that's how I blew the edges of it there. But here, this is like just one big glob of paint. So I don't know how that's going to dry. I have a feeling it's going to crack because there's not as much paint around it, but I just find that looks really pretty. And then this is the last one that I did, and I really like how this is sort of creating some of those cells, and I don't think I put any silicone in this one, but it's really neat how it's doing it, and it really reminds me of like an ocean theme. I really like this one, and the round canvas was really easy. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please give a like to the video. Be sure to subscribe for more smart art videos like this and more art videos in general. And thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye.